Cash and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where today we're talking about Manchester United against Brentford. Everyone kind of thought there'd be a bit of an upset. Well, is it really an upset if Brentford beat Man United nowadays? Unfortunately, it's not. You wouldn't have been shocked, which either way this went. But United came back and won the game. There's a couple of key points I'm going to get onto, and then I'm going to get onto the goals. First off as well, it's a shame because straight from the off, Man United's right back, I think it's Dalot, over-pressures the ball, and they won't let you show it on the highlights because they don't show him charging in like an absolute clown. He's just getting completely done. And the reason why I'm bringing this point up is because I think it was, what was it? The Twinks game when they were playing away in Europe, and another game where it's the Tottenham game, where they just ran straight through the heart of Manchester United and put the ball into the goal. Same thing happened. So, results aside of United winning the game, there's still a lot of defensive vulnerabilities and a lot of things that they're doing completely and utterly wrong. And this was an example as they just cut straight through the United line here because their right back has just completely gone AWOL, pressing up the field and just getting beaten. And you can actually see the space that they end up exploiting. They don't score from it, so I'm not going to carry on about it, but you can see how much open space is up from one person making an irrational decision and basically putting the rest of his team in jeopardy. But let's get on to some other points. Actually, this is the chance from that exploitive space here in the middle, and this should have been a goal. This should have been 1-0 right here, except for a lack of concentration. Now, you can argue that the player in front of him has just put him off because it looks like he's going to clear the ball, but the striker should have had his eye on the ball and he should have slotted that in the goal and make it 1-0. He didn't. Taking your eye off the ball because the person in front of you is flailing around, it can happen, but you shouldn't be doing it at this level. That should have been a goal, or at least a shot on target and make the keeper do something. But nope. But all from that exploitive space, all because a right back is pushed up, not really understanding about pressuring the ball or any of that stuff. But let's get on to the next point. I'm going to show you Brentford's keeper here because he's got a bit of a dodgy hands on this one. And nowadays, unfortunately, even if the keeper does make a mistake like this and you score because the keeper makes a mistake, there's a huge chance that they're going to say, oh no, you've touched the goalkeeper, therefore it's a foul and you'll get sent off. Not joking, that's how bad it is. Look at this though, he catches the ball but he doesn't catch it cleanly and properly. You can see it's it was a mess. Underneath his hands there, it's in this sort of area, you can see it. I don't need to tell you, you can see it. And he can't get any purchase on it and then drops it. And it doesn't go in. He ends up making a good save. But that's just terrible from a keeper at this standard. He can manage to put his hands together and completely miss the ball. And it be down in this area. That isn't good enough at any standard, let alone the Premier League. Yeah. And when your keeper does stuff like that as well, it just ends up sending ripples of mistrust and sort of panic from the rest of the team. It's like, oh, here we go. If there's another chance like this, we can't rely on him. He's no good. Yeah, and even if people don't say it out loud, they're thinking it in their heads. And that's sometimes how mistrust goes through your team. And trust as well. When the keeper makes a good save, everyone goes, we're all right. But yeah, that's worrying for Brentford. But let's move on. Okay, so when I talk quite a lot on this channel as well, it's amazing that people think, oh, they're in the Premier League, they're coaches in the Premier League, so they understand. No, they don't. There's things that happen in a game which if I saw instantly, because I've coached so many games, I've done so much in football, I'll know exactly what's going to end up happening. So when I saw this happening in real time, I knew, okay, this is how they're going to score. Simple reason, look how much time and space he's got here, okay? He can do anything he wants on the ball. There's no pressure on the ball. The whole defensive line is backing up. The midfielder is just letting him have the ball. Completely and utterly no pressure on the ball whatsoever. So what does he end up doing? He ends up whipping in the ball, ends up getting bounces around, a little bit of intricate play here from Man United, comes out wide and they get the shot. But the fact that you've got, if you're Brentford and you don't have a player pressuring or trying to put anything on that player at all to win the football back, one of the guys I think has got his back to the ball before he even crosses it in. You know danger's going to happen from that same aspect there, that same sort of point where he's got all the time and the space in the world and you're letting him have it, no one's pressuring the ball. Remember this because when we cover the Man United goal, the exact same thing happens. So before Brentford score this goal, Matthijs de Ligt ends up going off the field because apparently he's got blood gushing from his head. Now, everyone seems to have a go at the referee for this, but this is in this modern age where no one ever seems to take responsibility or call to action the person's job that it is supposed to fix that. That's the physio. He knows that his player is going to get pulled off the field if he doesn't stop the bleeding. That's his job. There's no bandage around the guy's head. Don't know what he's done to stop the bleeding, but the ref's responsibility is to the player to get him off the field to make sure if his head's bleeding that he doesn't bleed over the other players. And that comes from something from back in the day where everyone used to have a magic sponge in a bucket of like disgusting water. So everyone used to wipe everyone's mud and blood off it, goes back in the bucket and wipe it on everyone else. And there's all sorts of problems with, spreading people's blood into other people and loads of other stuff. So that's evolved into this modern law now, where if you're bleeding, get off the field. So that's the physio's responsibility. You should be yelling at your physio, Ten Hag, not the referee, because the guy's bleeding. And by the way, if he bleeds, falls over and dies, it's on the referee. So you know what? The referee does the right thing, getting the player off the field. Some people need to take responsibility for the person's job that actually is to look after the player and its well-being, which was the physio's, to make sure that that isn't happening. Not the referee's job for enforcing the rules of when you're bleeding from the head, you need to go off and get checked. And you can't bleed outright and you own other players. And I don't think you can have blood on your shirt now. I think you have to get rid of your whole shirt. But there's lots of stuff for that. Because if you get the blood on the shirt and then somebody else wipes that blood onto themselves, that can, put diseases and all sorts of stuff onto people. But complaining about a player being sent, getting off the field because of his head's bleeding and then you conceding the goal. How about you worry about how you conceded the goal and not so worry about this, Ten Hag? Because if you did it properly, you wouldn't have conceded the goal. And let's just go on to that right now. I want you to watch the lack of discipline in this Man United team. 1, 2 players, right? Obviously both marking 1v1. Personally, I think there's a problem here with the front post because of the amount of gaps that United have got. I don't know what you're doing. Because you're not really stopping that pass. You can come back here. You can get closer. I don't understand what you're doing in any way, shape or form. And you're looking this way. So you're not defending this guy anyway. So if your body shape with your shoulders here and your head facing this way, well, you're not going to be able to defend him anyway. You are not doing anything. You're facing your own goal as well. So this guy's completely useless. But overall, just watch these. We're going to move it forward ever so slightly. Right, all looks good. Bit of movement. You're still not marking anybody. If I would want him right here, just marking this guy here. Just come and stand up here. He's still walking, facing, I don't know, he's defending this space. So when you say, like, oh, he can come over to this player here, yeah, he can turn and run, but he's wasting 2 steps to do that. The only place he's really defending is what's in front of him, and what's in front of him is that space there, which is nobody's in. Okay? He's defending that space there, which nobody's in. Pretty interesting. The keeper, though, let's just have a little watch because he does a little bit of a flap at this as well as we move this forward. Remember that guy that was marked a second ago? And if you watch, this was the simplest thing ever. We had player 1 here, player 2 here, player 1 ran around player 2 and player 2 ran around there. And it completely and utterly confused the Man United defenders. They were like, oh my God, this is an amazing tactical shift. How did he make his dynamic run? No, they didn't. One ran behind him and then you 2 defenders got completely lost about who you were marking. It was that simple. I mean, what? He just ran from around there and he just stayed still and then run. And he was being marked, but the defender that was marking him decided not to bother, and now he's completely and utterly free for a free header straight in on the inside post here. Now this gets even funnier because you've got a guy right here, boom, because he's getting sidetracked by this player. You can see him, he's looking and watching him right here as this guy's marking him, watch, and he's just going to go straight in. Completely unmarked. There's a guy that's supposed to be marking him. Was marking him here, but got blind, so confused by that little wall magic run. And he just heads the ball and goal. Nobody there. Look. Anana's like, well, what is going on? How is he completely free? And if you're going to say, oh, well, the other defender that was off the field, he was going to be marking him, what, he would have left his mark too? He would have just completely left the guy marked because he was marked at the beginning of the play. He was absolutely marked. But all of a sudden, the defender didn't bother. You can't blame it if the players left the field for that absolute terrible marking. When you were with him, didn't bother to track him, didn't bother to do anything, got confused because the player ran around the other side of you, and then you want to blame it on something else. Take responsibility for your actions. You were marking him very, very poorly, and as soon as the movement started, you were holding him and went, oh no, he's gone, oh, he's confused me. Terrible defending from United. This is going to be pretty quick because it's a quality finish and it's a decent delivery. Right, so the exact same clip that I was talking about a second ago, you know when the guy's there watching someone deliver the ball because he's putting no pressure on the ball whatsoever? You got a guy out here, he's just not doing anything. But you can see, because there's no pressure on this ball, this time he can actually pick up his pass. He does a good job and he finds the run on the blind side back here. All comes down from the Brentford midfield, just not bothering to try to win the ball back. And the fact that their coach couldn't see this in the first half and say, hey, don't drop too deep. Don't give them that space in the midfield, because they're whipping in balls and they're putting in deep crosses instead of trying to get to the byline. Because Man United aren't really known anymore for getting to the byline and whipping in crosses. But all of a sudden, when you've seen at least 2 crosses coming from this deep area from the same player, you're going to go, right, make sure we put pressure on him so he does anything. He has to actually try hard to put in a quality ball. He doesn't get all the time and space in the world to sit there, pick out his team. It's shocking from the midfield of Brentford right there. Absolutely shocking. Still a quality finish, still a quality delivery. But the delivery quality, I could take that away a little bit because he's given so much time on the ball. There's no pressure for him. He's really, really easy to find that quality pass and that really good delivery. Yet the finish is decent. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, so you can see right here, because we're gonna just watch this little clip a couple of times. I'm going to show you, because this little back heel opens up. This run is brilliant because he's already anticipated that the ball's going to go behind. This defender here is clueless. So there becomes a point where a defender never wants to be. Right? I saw it from Virgil van Dijk in one of the games that Liverpool got scored on in the beginning of the season, where who are they playing? I think they were playing AC Milan maybe, where basically if you step up to this player, he plays the first time ball around you, you can't get close to him. So right now, as a defender, you have to know you're in no man's land. If you go, the flick goes in behind. And why is in behind dangerous? Because the space is dangerous. Okay, the ball right there, if he's received it and you're exactly where you are, if he goes to turn at goal or takes a second touch, that's when you can close him down. If you try to close him down on his first touch because you're too far away, he's going to beat you, right? The defender doesn't quite realise that. And you can see by his movements that he's not moving towards the player and anticipating the pass. He's actually just sort of holding his line, right? As this goes in, look, he goes in, it's too late, bam. And all of a sudden, because he steps forward, he's opened up that space in behind him. And now off the striker goes to do a little quality finish dink over the keeper. All because the defender doesn't realise he's actually 2v1. And he doesn't realise if he steps in, he's going to get beaten. At this level, you should know this. Because, absolutely shocking, really defending. Goes in now. It's just a 1v1 with a keeper. The keeper I've got a problem with. Look how small he's making himself. If you've ever heard stand up big and tall and make yourself strong, he's crouching and kneeling down. Keepers do this so often nowadays. They're trying to do it so they can jump or make a save or do something. How about you just stand up and make him beat you? They don't. They crouch down like little cowards, and he just puts over him a dink and gets himself the winning goal. Yeah. Other than that, United, they looked a little bit better in their attacking shape. They've still got a lot of problems, but we'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.